Welcome back to another video. My name's Jen. So let's talk about when we are being criticized and how that just doesn't feel good. No, this for real. There's two types of criticism, okay? You have direct criticism when somebody is directly verbally assaulting you, and you have something I like to call indirect or passive criticism, and this is when somebody ghosts you or they go MIA or they just like cut you off and you don't know why. They don't confront you about it, and you feel bad, and you basically construct stories in your head of this person actually criticizing you, even when they're not like physically criticizing you, if you catch my drift. So both feel really bad to us. They don't feel good. We don't like to be verbally assaulted. It's a horrible thing. But what I'm going to talk about today is what you being affected by criticism means. And basically what that is you giving your power away to somebody else. So words hold a lot of meaning. We know this. Words can cut us like a knife. They can feel, verbal assault can feel like a physical assault, especially if somebody you know is doing it a lot on a repeated basis. It can feel like you're being drained of your energy, because it's this misalignment, right? In your energy and another person who is just spewing things at you. So we assign meaning to words from a very young age. So they hold a lot of power. They hold a lot of power. So it's getting to a place where we can kind of disempower those words or the meaning, or get to a place where the words no longer affect us. We're not triggered by it. And it's like, well, how do I do that? If I'm being criticized all the time, it doesn't feel good. So, it is about taking your power back. Okay. So even something like indirect criticism, when somebody, like I said, ghosts you or goes MIA on you, and your brain starts forming stories because it knows you've been criticized in the past, right? We all have been in some form. And your brain just, like little stories in your head start playing, like little movies of this person, right? Actually physically your brain doesn't know the difference, right? Between fake and real, as long as you're thinking it up here. So this goes with the observer. You are the observer, right? So anything you observe or put attention on in your life becomes your reality. So it's about also shifting yourself and embodying a new parallel time, getting on a parallel timeline where the words aren't going to affect you as much. And you might be like, well, how do I do that? It's all about the power, okay? And, something that is difficult for a lot of people is putting yourself in the criticizers, if I say criticizers, right? Criticizers' shoes. Sorry, I just had oral surgery, so I can't talk. Maybe I have a lisp. But putting yourself in the other person's shoes and not coming at it from a mental place, but coming at it from a spiritual place. Spirit. We're all spirit, right? So if somebody is directly criticizing you, the best thing you can do, but also the hardest thing, is look into that person's eyes. Because that's probably going to cut them like a knife. But it's almost like you're talking to the other person's spirit, the other person's inner child, and you're looking at, instead of reacting just, because as human beings, we're going to just superficially react to stuff, right? It's based on our past memories, stuff like that. We're just going to, I don't know. It's like somebody cuts you off on the highway or something. You get pissed off. You get annoyed. You can't help it a lot of times. It's hard. It's really freaking hard to just like ground yourself. You don't have the, 20, 30 seconds or a minute to ground yourself before somebody does it, right? If a deer comes out in front of your car, you're going to react. You don't have the time to think about it, to like calm yourself down, right? To meditate. You can't meditate, while there's no time, right? So what do you do in this instant? It's about, taking the focus away from yourself, moi, and putting it on the other person and looking into that other person's eyes, if you can. I know it's hard because we don't want to make eye contact with people, and you know why that is. That's because you're looking into that person's spirit, okay? It's that connection that we all have as human beings. That's why it's hard for us to make eye contact, especially if you're shy, right? We look away, we dart away, right? Especially if somebody is kind of like direct at us. But putting yourself in the other person's shoes and looking at it from the aspect, okay, what is this person? Why are they criticizing me? And they're hurting in some way. Their child self is hurting. They've probably had trauma. They're repressing something inside, So it's, like I said, everything that you are observing and putting your attention on becomes you, essentially. You're not creating anything. It just is. Like you are. So when you're being criticized, it's about taking those emotions that you fear, because a lot of times we let's see here, even when we're not being criticized, like we're always being criticized or criticizing ourselves or experiencing the criticism before we even experience it, if you know what I mean, up here in our head, because we're not present. We're fearful that it's going to keep happening. We're fearful that this person's going to criticize us because they've criticized us in the past. So it's taking that fear and it's transcending it. So it's something called the transcendent emotions. And these are our more spiritual emotions that we have. And it's about transcending fear to wisdom. So reframing techniques also helps. If somebody is criticizing you, instead of fighting with them or getting angry about it, using it, reframing it as a learning experience, saying, okay, this person was put here for some sort of reason because I put them here. I know that's hard to believe, but everything is a reflection of you, right? You just watching me on this video is a reflection of you. Like you're meant to see this for some reason. I don't know why, but I'm happy that you are seeing it. But so, reframing, learning from it. A lot of it is shifting in our perspective. And it's not easy because we just want to react as human beings. But the more we can tweak things and we can look at it from a different view. The other thing, not only reframing, but the bird's eye view, right? Going above this experience. Like I said, we're all spirit, we're all the same. We react differently as human beings, but that's only based on our past and how we grew up. And maybe we grew up, or maybe that person that's criticizing grew up in a very, very conservative, narrow-minded kind of environment. And they don't know any other way. So that's why I say put yourself in the other person's shoes. So anyway, I'm not going to make this too long, but I just want you to be aware when you're being criticized, and pay attention to when you have the passive criticism, that you're not constructing stories that aren't even there, that don't even exist. But when you're being criticized, it feels really horrible and it feels very out of alignment, but that doesn't mean that you have to give your power away. Let me repeat that. Even though it feels bad in your body, that doesn't mean that you have to surrender to it. That doesn't mean that you have to give away your car for free. That doesn't mean that you have to give away your house, because that's basically what you're saying. You're saying, here, take my power. I'm giving it to you. Take it. Do what you want with it. Shape it into Play-Doh, weird shapes. That's what it's like. So it's about embodiment of a new self, detaching from your ego self, looking at it from the more spiritual side of yourself, okay? And it's like this, I don't know, it's just a transaction at the end of the day. It's what you give meaning to it when somebody assaults you. So, on that note, let me know if you like this video. Comment below, give me a thumbs up. I put out new videos every single week, so subscribe. I have a podcast that I put out weekly as well called the Reinvent Your Reality Podcast. I put a link to that below. My new book is out. I put a link to that below. All the links are below. And I hope you have a beautiful day, and I will see you on the next video. So, peace.